Hello, hello, hello. Incredible morning. Incredible morning, everyone. How art thou? All right. Actually, I should have brought it up over here. Let's see. Let me share this out. Hello, 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 hello. Come on in the room. Come in the room. Come on in the room. Come on in the room. Come on in the room. All right, let's see. Hi, people. Let's see. Oh, Shakira, you might want to fix that. Oh, Lord, what just happened? All right, let's try this again. Incredible morning, incredible morning. All right, let's try this again. It just totally messed up my post. Oh my gosh, this is driving me crazy. All right, so we're going to talk about proper terminology and why not having the proper vocabulary terminology when it comes to what you're looking for and the answers that you're looking for and why you're not finding them. Are you having trouble? Oh my gosh, come on, don't do this. When it doubled, I knew it was about to mess up. Okay, guess what? I can't do a caption. I'm just going to share it to group. Y'all got to figure it out. Like, I'll have to go into the groups and do a caption afterwards. I tried to copy it because I felt like it was about to mess up because it gave me the, it doubled the word. And I knew that was about to mess up. But you know what? It's okay. I'm just going to just share it out. Like, I ain't got time for this. This is annoying. All righty. Incredible morning, incredible morning. Hello, 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 everyone. Incredible morning. Thank you for jumping on. Hello, hello, hello. Incredible morning. Hey, 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 peeps over on TikTok. Hello, hello, hello. Incredible morning. Hold on. All right. All right, so I just went in and approved a few friend requests. All right, there we go. All right, let's go ahead and get into this, guys. I try not to. I try not to be on forever, but then I get into a groove and I want to share like all the things. Like I know I can't like share all the things, but it's hard. Sometimes I can't help it. So I'm going to try not to be on long. I really do have to get some prep work done for tonight's class. Yeah. So, let me introduce myself. I am Shakia, the professor of HSINK365. We are the home of the Honestly Speaking brand of products. We carry the absolute best sublimation paper and ink. If you are into sublimation or you're thinking about it, please consider Honestly Speaking products. You can visit our website, shop.hsink365.com, or our TikTok shop. With our sublimation paper, you are able to sublimate as low as 365 degrees, as fast as 30 seconds, 365, 4 minutes in an oven, or 30 seconds rotate, 30 seconds in a tumbler press. Mugs are a little bit different. Those numbers, they don't sound too cute when you got to do mugs because they're ceramic. So we'll talk about, but you can actually sublimate any and everything. MDF, plastic, ceramics, glass, the metals, fabrics. It's so many things that you can do with sublimation. And we teach you all that here on our platforms, mainly on the Honestly Speaking platforms, but you can learn how to design from Silhouette Anonymous, which is where I have been teaching you guys how to use Silhouette Studio as a designing, placement, sizing, printing software for the past 10 years. We have thousands of videos on our YouTube channel that you can watch and consume at your own time, work at your own pace, create your own course with our YouTube. So go make your own playlist, find the videos that you want, put them in either dedicated playlists or Silhouette Anonymous or Honestly Speaking playlist. So if you have the time and you know what to search for, you can probably create your own course line, like your own lineup of classes, and DIY yourself, of course, and DIY your way to greatness by checking out our amazing YouTube videos. They're always super, super informative. I don't hold back, but I do give you a little bit more when it comes to the actual classes. So check that out on our YouTube channel. And if you are someone that is interested in actually being guided through the process and you want to be able to shorten that journey to reach your goals, we do have dedicated classes through our 365 Creative Academy a site. You can enroll in those classes all from our shop site. And then, of course, you will go over to the Academy to access all of your playbacks. All right. So today, we are going to talk about the importance of knowing proper terminology and vocabulary when you are searching for things, when you are looking for answers. And I get it, right? As a newbie, how do you know if it's proper proper terminology? How do you know if it's the right things that you should be searching for? You don't know until you know, and you ask the question and you get the wrong answer and it still doesn't. So some people will ask a question, they'll get an answer, and they immediately kind of run with that, and you don't verify it. You don't look for, someone else, okay, want to confirm, what's being said. And then sometimes you do, go and you think that you're doing your due diligence and you will confirm what someone else said, right? Because you're going to look for another resource and there might be someone that's saying the same thing. How do you know what's true, what's not? This is going to sound very, very harsh. I'm, giving the precursor right now. I'm giving a disclaimer. It's probably going to rub some folk the wrong way. Some people are not going to agree. And they'll probably turn away. They'll walk away, move away from the live, swipe away from the live. It's okay. It's okay. Craft groups, and let's be very clear. Every Facebook group is not a craft group. You have some who are started by those who are professionals, who've been doing things a long time within their field, and the information that they put out. Now, you can't control what a group of, 70,000 people, even a group of 500, a group of, 200,000, you can't really control the things that they will say. But normally, when it comes to the person that started it, you have some that are, hey, I just wanted a community where all of my craft peeps or, all of my dog lovers or all of my stay-at-home moms, they just kind of create a community. We have to stop thinking that a Facebook group is created by a professional, created by someone that knows what they're doing, and that you're going to get all of the correct information from a Facebook group. Y'all know that anybody can create a Facebook group. Anybody, like literally. I can go right now and I can create a Facebook group about buying real estate. Do I know anything as far as like really getting into that business as far as buying real estate? No. But I can create a group, have a really cool name, and the people who are looking for that information, they're going to come into that group, and I don't know diddly squat. Okay? I'm going to Google some ish. I'm going to go and make some really cute posts and stuff like that. And I, can grow a successful group about purchasing commercial real estate or just purchasing real estate, and I know diddly squat about it. We have to stop thinking that Facebook groups are the holy grail. Like they are where you need to go for information. Even on YouTube, there's a lot of people who are not experts. Anyone can start a YouTube channel. Anyone can give information. But there are those who are professionals. There are some people, like I'm going to now bring it back to like the crafting part of it or graphic designing. For crafting, I don't really feel like there is a right or wrong. There's no proper materials. Now, there's a difference between quality and not so great quality. So that can make a big difference in your crafting endeavors, whether it's for a hobby or for a business. But there aren't major things where it's like, okay, you have to do this, you have to do that. But in things like designing and the way files are set up, the files that you bring in to be able to start these crafting projects, there are some, non-negotiables when it comes to those things. And what many crafters don't realize is you have to look beyond just the craft. You got to look beyond that. As far as like, we did this last night, right? The craft part in it is you don't have to know how to create this file. Someone who is a little bit more knowledgeable in how design programs work. Because believe it or not, this is kind of like graphic designing. Because you have to combine shapes. You have to create paths. You got to create the different lines and, adding that. The same exact program that I would use to create this can be an SVG, right? So the same program that I would use to create, an SVG or create a file that's like this, where I'm drawing it out and I'm able to then digitally add color. So here we go. To make digital type designs. But this right here is graphic designing. people don't really think of it that way. I mean, it's like you're creating a file, but in a sense, it's like it's graphic designing. This takes some skill and knowledge to be able to create this, and knowing about proper sizing, proper placement, how to get the line that's like the perforated line that you're going to fold it on, and things of that nature. Now, a crafter can take this file, they can cut it, they can grab some adhesive, okay? And they can put all this together, make it look real cute. They can go buy digital, they can go buy paper, cardstock, decorative paper, make it look even nice, nicer. They can add foil paper. This is what a crafter can do, right? But they will have no knowledge of how to actually design this box. They can only put it together. If you are someone that wants to now learn how to design this, may not like this, but you can't go to a crafter. You can't go to a crafter. You are going to have to learn from someone who actually designs and knows proper terminology. So I love having this platform because whenever I see comments or posts about things, I can create content for it and share it with my community, because that's showing me what people know and what they don't know. I'm going to start with the word or term that every crafter seems to struggle with. And I've seen a lot of comments, like in my groups. I know, hope you don't mind I'm saying your name. I'll tell you right now, Becky Jean, Terry, Velma, LaShonda, Keandra, even Shar. There's a couple of people who, right now they are soaking up information. They are doing their homework. They're asking questions. They're being engaged. And right now they're like the teacher's pet right now, right? And they're asking a lot of great, it's another one. I can't think of, it gets the A. But they're asking a lot of great questions. Like, I'm loving that they're trying to gain the knowledge, right? So one of the things that came up was about file types. We've been talking about file types a lot lately. And that's one of the foundations. Like, that's a part of the building blocks for getting into designing and being able to either create files yourself, or just understanding the files that you are purchasing and downloading, or why your computer is doing something. Silhouette Studio is great. I love it. I think it's great for beginners before you go into the more robust programs. If you don't know, if you're going to like this, why not start with something that is free, but gives you it gives you a lot of the bells and whistles of the more robust softwares, right? SVG. Many crafters start, like, once you get past I'm going to cut everything by hand, right? Paper crafters, before cut machines, it's like scissors, X-Acto knives, or craft cutters. This is what we were using to be able to attempt to create things like this. Then we had the die cutters, where you basically have a plate, you roll it through, it's going to cut it for you, then you can start to assemble it. Then there were the cutting machines, which there were larger format ones. Most things start on a larger format. It's not too many things that start on a smaller format and then they're making the bigger ones. A lot of the times they start big because the big boys, the big commercial companies and corporate companies, they're trying to make their lives easier. They have the capital. They're not going to start with something small. They're normally starting with the big boys. And then it's going to end up trickling down to where it's more accessible for crafters and for you to do things in your home or in a small office. So the big boys, they created the cutting machines, and then that trickled down to the machines that many of us who are getting into crafting and starting businesses, you get machines like the Cricut, the Silhouette, Cameo Portrait, Cricut Joy, Cricut Maker, Cricut Expression. Some of us still have a Cricut Cake, or I say Cricut Expression. That's the old one. Cricut Explorer, Caesar Romeo, Caesar Juliet, Starcraft Cutter, Vavor, Suma, US Cutter, I think I said Graph Tech, like all these different, cutters. So you end up learning the term SVG, which stands for Scalable Vector Graphic. Yes, an SVG means that there are paths. It's not made up of pixels. If you were to click on it, you would see little dots that go up and down, up and down, up and down, slanted, around. You would see several points. If you were to double click or go to, in certain programs, you have to click on a certain icon to be able to see the nodes. You will see that. That's how you know that that is a vector. You can take that, fill it in with color, blow it up, make it small. I can take this, and without any major modifications, I can take this file and I can shrink it down, or I can blow it up and make this box bigger or smaller without having to ever cut anything, remove anything, delete a point, cut anything off, because it is a scalable vector graphic. It's a scalable vector graphic. Okay? No pixels are involved in this, with this. So that's a term because you're cutting on a machine. A cut machine needs to have those nodes. It needs to know where to cut at. Although it's great for cutting machines, it's a requirement for cutting machines. Vector files are a requirement for cutting machines, but they're not limited to it. I can take this file, add color to it, and I can print it out. I can take this file, and once I have color to it, I can save it as a JPEG or a PNG, which are flattened. Once, if I were to take the way that this file was, and let's say it was all colored, right? And I was to flatten this, it's almost like gluing it together. Right now, this, I can open it. I can separate these two pieces. I can technically still separate this. Like I might rip it. I might tear some ish up, but technically I can kind of like take this apart, right? But if I use some really, really strong glue, this becomes one. Like I cannot separate this without, I can't separate it without cutting it away, right? I can't separate it without like really tearing it and ripping it apart, changing it. And then I would have to do some reconstruction to put this back together. A JPEG and a PNG is kind of sort of like that. You go and you flatten it. I'm going to use actually my mouse pad. In a design program, let's say it's a vector program like Silhouette Studio, all these elements can be clicked on, and I can change the color on each one of them, each element. Even my like little specks, the way that my file is, I can actually click on, if I wanted my specks to be rainbow, I can click on certain specks and I can change the color. I can fill them with color. That would be a vector file. There are other vector file formats, but for the sake of crafters, I'm going to keep it to SVG because that is the common crafter vector file. But that's not the only one. On a professional level, most of them, they don't know what they're not going to use the term SVG. Once this was printed, it instantly became a flattened file or print. So it's the same as if I made it a JPEG or a PNG. I would not be able to, in a flattened PNG, a flattened JPEG, I would not be able to click on any element and just change the color. I have to select that. I have to put a manual selection around it and then use either paintbrushes, fill buckets, that's not really like live fill, or I would have to trace it again to turn it back into a vector. SVGs, JPEGs, PNGs are different file types. A PNG is like saying, I'm going to take this and you're not going to see anything. All you would see is this. A PNG gives you the ability to save this without any of this back, like none of this behind me. Not me. I wouldn't even be behind this. And then you can take this, and if you, in a design program, if you put it here as a PNG, you're not going to see me. You're not going to see my background. You're going to see whatever you put behind this. That is what you're going to see. As a JPEG, it's going to be something solid. A background is pretty much going to always be a JPEG. Like, it's best if you save it as a JPEG because there's no transparent pixels. I don't need this. I don't need to see through it. Now, the mouse pad itself, this mouse pad can be saved and be a PNG because the outline. So if I wanted to make a mock-up and now I want to take this mock-up and I'm going to have something behind it because I'm going to put my image on it. I wanted a mock-up. I wanted, it to look like it's on an orange background. The mouse pad itself can be a PNG around the edge, but the image that's on the inside would be a JPEG, or it will be a PNG without a transparent background. JPEGs don't allow you to apply a transparent background. It's always going to be solid. If there was nothing there and you save it as a JPEG, it instantly becomes white. If you have a PNG and you don't check transparency, every single program that allows you to save as a PNG has a little check mark. Hey, Javaya, I saw your comment and I don't want to forget. Please inbox me because we can collab. But it's just your hearts caught my eye. And then of course your logo, because it's blue. Whenever I see that light blue, I know who it is, and I'm not even looking down there. Maybe forgot I thought. Get out my live. You distracted me. Bye-bye. Every single program, there is a icon. There's a button or a box that you're going to check to say, I want it to be transparent. Now, there's a lot of technical mumbo jumbo to the data that it stores, the way that it stores. I did this. I do so many videos live for teaching. I also have like my dedicated classes. I don't remember which one I was in, whether it was a live video or in a class. But I was talking about JPEGs and PNGs, and I was showing how the size of the file, it was in Essentials. I was showing how when you save a file, and if it's a JPEG or a PNG, how the file size, like the size of the file, that it can go from a 500 kilobyte file to a 8 megabyte file, just because of how you save it and what's in that file, like all of the little pixels. Like if you put a a fade behind something, because there's so many additional pixels, it's trying to save all the information. It will even change the size of the file. Like I said, that's the technical stuff. If you are someone that really, really wants to understand files and you're trying to create files, you have to get into classes. People go to school for this for years. There is a reason why there's degrees in graphic designing, because there is a technical element to it. So many crafters think, okay, just because I can do it, I can DIY it, that there's no technical stuff to it. Oh, anyone can do it. Anyone can bring in a JPEG. Yes, technically they can. But when I'm seeing so many questions of, well, why is this blurry? How do I clean this up? This file is pixelated. What can you can't. You guys are stressing yourself out over things that you cannot change, unless you are going to be a graphic designer and you're going to go into programs like Photoshop and you're going to like really go in, select areas, sometimes refill them in with color to take away that. Or yes, you can use AI, but you guys know all AI does, it doesn't create something. It doesn't instantly just go and make it better. it's going to find similar things, which is why sometimes people use AI on faces and it changes their eyes. It gives them a different mouth. Their nose changes because they're going to find other elements that are high resolution that kind of sort of matches it. And I'm going to try and put that in place, and I'm going to try and blend it out, and it ends up looking kind of crazy. That one that everyone likes to use in groups, was it Remini? It will have somebody's face looking crystal clear, but then the rest of the picture is blurry because they cannot find, if there's no other picture that exists in the outfit that I have on, if they cannot find another person with these size boobs with this shirt on somewhere on the internet, they can't fix that part of the image if it was blurry. These are things that you have to understand if you're trying to be serious about this. You can't just rely on the I'm creative, I want to DIY, because there is some technical components to it. So I was in a group and someone was asking about Silhouette Studio. Why is it that when I bring in a PNG, I get a red line around it, it instantly shuts down Silhouette Studio, like it's driving me crazy? And then there was someone that says because it turns it into an SVG. It's really hard for me to bypass posts like that or comments like that because you're giving someone wrong information. That's really hard for me, right? So we say mind your business, but if I care about my craft community, I can't just mind my business because I don't want my creative folk, I don't want my creative peeps to be frustrated because it's a simple answer, right? It's like a simple thing, and not that it becomes an SVG because that's a specific file type. An SVG is just what's at the end of it. I can create something in a design program and I can save it. If I design it in Silhouette Studio, I can save it as an SVG. I can then save it as a PDF. I can save it as a PNG. I can save it as a JPEG. I can save it as a DXF file. If I design it in Illustrator, I can save it as an SVG. I can save it as a PDF. I can save it as an EPS file. I can save it as an Illustrator file. I can save it as a CAD cut file. Then I can export it, which is technically a version of saving it. I can then save it as a JPEG. I can save it as a PNG. I can save it as a Photoshop file. And then there's actually two different types of Photoshop files. So exporting is a version of saving. And so these programs will allow, so SVG is nothing more than a file extension that you can save a certain file as. If you have a JPEG and you save it as an SVG, so when you go down, it's showing you all the things that you can save it as. If you save a flattened image as an SVG, if you open it up, even in the same exact program, or you take it to another program, it's just going to be a big black space. Whatever that shape is, if I took a picture of this as a PNG or as a JPEG, well, as a JPEG, it's going to show up as a black box. Because remember, there's no transparent pixels. If it was a PNG where the background was removed, it's going to show up as the shape of this bear, and it's going to be filled with black. Just because you see a cut line in a program like Silhouette Studio, or not even a cut line, because they're not cut lines. We're actually going to learn about that next week in Essentials, about lines and the fact that they're not all cut lines. They can be cut because it's an effective program, but that's a story for another day. But just because you see a colored line, yes, it created a contoured path around this, but it doesn't make it an SVG. It has made it to where if you decide to print out that JPEG or print out that PNG, and you then put it on a mat, because you're going to put it on a solid material, and because you're not printing it out where it eliminates the transparency. So this is on a transparent film. There is no extra white around it. But if you print it out on a printer, onto paper, onto sticker paper, onto vinyl, you have to then either use scissors or use a cutting machine to then cut that out. So to save your hands and not cut it with scissors or an X-Acto knife, you can now put this on a mat. Okay, this is a flattened image. I printed it on paper. I put it on my mat. Now my cutting machine is going to know where to cut that out so that I end up with this. The line that you see says that that line can be cut, but it doesn't make it an SVG. You're not converting that PNG or that JPEG into an SVG. You are simply making it possible for a cutting machine to follow the contour and pull it away from paper or from its background. Understood? All right, so let me see. I see a few comments here. And make sure that I'm not losing you guys. Let's see. Hey, cousin. Incredible morning. Incredible morning. You guys are up early. I have to teach a fitness class. I hope there's a replay. There's always replays. Good morning. Oh, yeah, it did it twice. All right. Incredible morning. Oh, you saw that? You're glad I didn't choose to mind my business. So I inadvertently didn't realize that I was kind of going at it with the admin of the group. So I'm hoping I don't get deleted, but yeah. Let's see. Incredible morning. Incredible morning. I see a lot of people in groups answer questions wrong and others run to those wrong answers because the masses said it was correct. Very true. Hello, Zanita. Hi, was that G Girl? Jeanette, LaShonda, Shawnee D, Javaya, Shar, welcome, welcome. Chica, Shamara, how art thou? Lisa, welcome in. Stitching Studio. Hello, 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 hello. All right. So I say all of that. It is going to be really hard for you guys to know because you go into these groups and it says beginner, which means a lot of beginners are going to flock to this group. And what beginners are doing, they're just regurgitating the information that they have received somewhere else, right? It's, we want to be helpful. I want to share the information that I got, Sometimes it is helpful information. Sometimes it really is. But try not to reject. If someone comes in and they make a comment that's kind of opposite to maybe what everybody else is saying and what don't always reject it. Maybe write it down. Go and see if there's some validity to what that person is saying. Maybe it's something that you did not know. It's not that you were wrong and no, that was wrong. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Some things are just wrong. You're not making an SVG. I can't. I'm trying to be, gentle about this, but some stuff is just wrong. I'm sorry. You're just wrong. I don't know how else to put it. That was just wrong. Like that was wrong information all the way around. But so don't reject it. So even if it's you and you see something, you kind of question it, look and see if there is something opposing to that. I was a debate captain. I know that in everything in life, because they threw all types of topics at us, you never know if you are going to be on the for or against, right? When it comes to what you have to present. You don't have to agree with it because there's plenty of times I had to go up there and debate a side that I'm like, I wholeheartedly don't believe this ish one bit, but I was very convincing. Very, very convincing. Won a couple, won a couple debates, your girl's kind of good with that. All right. So I know that there's always, there's what they say, there's two sides to every story. There's two sides to every method. There's a bunch of different methods. But principles, they remain the same. Like that's literally, thinking, that's going to be one of my mantras for this year for creatives. Methods are many, principles are few. Methods change, principles never do. And the principles of JPEGs, PNG, SVGs, because these are, and PDFs, because these are the files that most crafters are going to be introduced to first. There are certain things, like specific things about these file types, and let that be where, you know, your research starts and the foundation of what is it you're going to do. Because if you understand the design programs, if you understand the file formats, it's going to make your journey into designing or resizing that much easier. The next thing I'll eventually end up talking about is proportions, because, oh my God, that really have people in the chokehold when something is, why can't I make this fit in a circle and it fills it up? It's cutting it off. Why can't I take this and shrink it down to a square and still see everything? That's going to be a discussion for another live as well. All right. Proper terminology is a key, guys. You have to learn. I know you may want to learn it all for free. You're trying to make ends meet. You may not, your mindset is, I don't have money to pay for classes, but you had money to buy the machine. You had money to buy the printer. You had money to buy the glue, the paper, the this, the that. You're going to end up wasting more if you don't get that information and knowledge. And just know that there are a lot of people giving you information that they just pulled out of the air, that they're just regurgitating from another beginner. And like she said, because a lot of people are saying it, they assume that it's true. And all you're going to end up doing is having a lot of mistakes, messing up a lot of blanks, a lot of paper. You're going to spend way too much time in front of your computer trying to make a file work that will never work. And it's going to mess with your confidence, because now you're going to start to think it's you. Oh, I see everybody. I see all the people doing all of these great things, whatever. I can't figure this out. This should be simple. They make it look so easy. It's not making it look so easy. It's about putting in the work to fully understand it. It's about taking notes. It's about understanding proper ways to do things, understanding the right vocabulary. That's what makes it easy. It's not easy just because I woke up and I'm able to just go in and trace. I practice. I do allow myself to mess up. When I was first starting, I didn't let mess ups like totally crush me. I learned from it. I saw what went wrong. I noted what went wrong. Why did this maybe take forever in a day? What could I have done to improve this? I'm always looking to be better. I see some of you guys are on in a lot of groups, on a lot of live videos that's showing the same thing. How many times can you watch me wrap a tumbler? If you come on here and I'm not saying new, if the title isn't new and improved way to do your tumblers, you can skip the video. You've seen me wrap a tumbler. How many times can you watch somebody glue paper together? If you have done that, you've successfully been able to glue paper, that means you have time. If you have time to watch a video of a project or a system or a process that you know like the back of your hand, that means you have time. Go find something else that's going to challenge you. Stop watching the same videos of bling shirts, bling tumblers. You're sitting there wasting time watching someone and you're not even doing, I can see it maybe, okay, you're kind of doing it together while they're doing it. You just want to kind of maybe be like, feel like you're in the space with somebody else that does stuff. If you're actually blinging it and you're doing something at the same time, I get it. But some of you guys sit on live videos forever and it ain't helping you none because you already know how to do these things. Challenge yourself. I'm always looking for new things to learn. And when you are learning something, that means you don't know about it. So you are going to have some mistakes. It is going to be frustrating. It is going to be a learning curve because you are learning. But if you know the thing, stay y'all behinds off of videos that's not going to help you. Even over here, I love the support. I want to attract people who don't know these things. But once I help you master it, I don't want you to watch another video where I'm wrapping a tumbler. I don't want you to watch another video if I'm subbing a shirt. I don't want you to watch another video of me cutting paper and gluing it together. That means you have time. Spend that time on something that's actually going to take you to the next level. Something that's going to elevate your knowledge, elevate your skills. Stop wasting time, people. But I'm gonna get off my soapbox. Wrong terminology drives me bonkers. And those are usually the same people who get an attitude when you try to correct them, when correcting is actually to help them. Yes, God. Hello from Dade City. How art thou? Also, the people that reject the correct information are the ones that aren't going to do the research in the first place. That's why they're in a group asking someone to give them the answers. When I give info, I back it up with one of the professor's videos that they can refer to so they can learn the why and the how. I share based on my knowledge, but I'm not going back and forth on why I am right and they're wrong. I'm not saying I'm not going to go back and forth. I mean, I just go and, say what it is. They got to start watching all these edit videos that leave out all the main details. They rather argue instead of learn. So sometimes watching the shorter ones, especially if you're learning something, if you're the type of learner where you can pick up on little things, like there are some people who are gifted, and because they have so much foundational knowledge for like in the thing, like, or like whatever it is, they might need just that little missing piece, right? They may need to, okay, I know all this is my first time. Where'd it go? They may have watched that video to find out about the glue, right? That one little thing. So sometimes the edit videos can be, but if you are like, you have to know the type of learner you are. If you are the learner where it works better for you to know the details, or you don't have any foundation, you've not met any of the prerequisites to just be able to jump into this, you need to get you some snacks. Okay. Sit down with your iPad in front of your computer, get you some snacks, get you a little drinky drink, get you a notepad or a notebook, watch the video, take notes of the good, the bad, the ugly. If you are brand spanking new, edited videos don't work for you. Ooh, look at your girl. She right here, bars. Yeah, see, some people don't need long videos and others do. Now, there are some, I'm not going to say I don't need long videos, because if it's something that I literally know nothing about, I'm going to watch that thing. If it takes 2, 3, 4 hours, I'm going to watch the thing. If it's like a tutorial one, I'm gonna watch the thing for things that I have absolutely no knowledge of. I remember when we first started doing like the sales tax. I tried to, watch like a quicker one and then realized the part that we were missing. And I had to go back and watch. Then I had to go back and watch the entire thing. And I was so mad at myself because that one thing that I skipped over is what had us sitting in front of the computer like way too long, because I skipped through it. And I'm like, okay, I like to kind of sometimes skim. So I'll try and skip to see like the areas that you're clicking to. And then I realized, oh, okay, that's where I effed up at after I watched the whole thing. So there are times like if you don't nothing, and I knew nothing about navigating that site to report our sales tax. Knew nothing. Now, I didn't have to watch a bunch of videos. I watched that one. I was able to get it done. Am I going to go and watch another video of somebody else showing how to do the sales and use tax. No, I can love their channel. I'm subscribed to their channel. Think they're an amazing person. But I'm not going to waste my time watching a video of something that I already know how to do. I personally don't need live classes. I do well with playbacks. Yeah, live classes are great for those who want to ask questions. Like they want to be able to ask their question to the instructor and have an answer come straight back. Or some people, which I've learned, which is why we brought back Essential to Silhouette Studio Live, is some people wanted that accountability. They didn't have the discipline to just watch things on their own, or they aren't great with time management. So they weren't great with prioritizing free, like quote unquote, free time to just go in and like watch the videos. And then you have some people, which I kind of am one of those people as well, which is why I'm always live. It's just a different vibe to be in a room with others and know that you're going to hear other voices. Just being in a community, just being around like-minded people, like that does something for you. So I'm always like on TikTok now, and I'll do my, hey, coworker, like, hey, just come hang out with me while I'm in this office by myself. So it's people will attend live classes for different reasons. So just know your reasons for why you would want to be in a live class. And some, they rather like skip forward through it. And some people don't even like videos. They want a visual to go with it. They'd rather have something they like to read because they are avid readers and they thrive better when they can read it and it sticks in their brain a little bit more, which is why we're trying to add that component to our classes as well, because I understand that some people need to be able to read it, to be able to really, really retain it. So there's different learners. You just have to figure out, like no one else can help you figure out. You have to look at how you're going to figure out what type of learner you are. Embrace your struggles. Some people try and run away from the things that they're not great at. They're not being honest with themselves in what type of learner you are, what type of, if you struggle with time management, you struggle with prioritizing time, like these are things that you know that you struggle with, then you have to force yourself to do the opposite. But you have to know what type of learner you are. When I got my Cameo, I watched videos for 8 hours straight before I even attempted to use the program or my machine. Once I'm able to go back next door, I'm going to join you live one day. Awesome. Let's see. However, you always add a new tip or concept. Sometimes people may ask a question and your question will be different or better way than my method. I mean, I get that, but don't spend a lot of time. Like even with my videos, share it out, invite somebody who's brand new to come watch. But if you know that you could be spending that time doing something that's really going to elevate you or, help you, maybe go back and watch that, like watch the, like Shani said, watch the playback and, in little spurts. But I'd rather you guys spend your time like efficiently, especially if you're trying to get to the next level. I'll usually be working on an order and I will be listening to the program. So that's different. So that I said that you have some people that they're not actually doing that, like doing something. They're just watching it just to watch it. Now, I'm one where I'll do things and I'll watch TV, right? So if you're just kind of listening in because you're doing something else, that's different. But if you are trying to actively learn, that's the difference, guys. So I'm not saying hey, if you got free time, you want to watch just to watch, that's one thing. Hear what I said before. If you are trying to learn something. Now, if there's nothing on your list to learn, like a new thing on your list to learn, then it doesn't apply to you because it's like, okay, I'm not actively trying to learn anything. But if you are in a season of actively learning, try to maximize your time on things that you're actually learning from. And you're going to learn more than just maybe, or pick up one thing. Invest your time in something, or watching a video, paying for a class, attending a class, listening to a podcast, whatever, that's going to elevate you. That's going to add way more value to you than like one or two things. Because I'm pretty sure those one or two things you can pick up at different times. All right. But I'm going to get out of here. I've been on here for an hour. I've taken up an hour, almost an hour of your time. So I'm going to go ahead and hop off. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm about to go live on TikTok while I work on my the homework for tonight, and some printed or like things that can be read, those things. So I'm about to go live on TikTok just to kind of hang out with my peeps. Now, if you want to come, you can, or you can go and watch those playbacks. If you are in Essentials and you haven't watched your playbacks, don't come on the live. Go watch some playbacks. Go do your homework so you can turn in your homework. Remember, this is an extra credit assignment. You know, comes with perks when you do your extra credit assignment from last week. All right. All right, y'all. Until next time, have a great one. Continue to unlock your creativity and be incredible. Peace.